I'm Honor Valencia, and today we're going to be talking to a United States Marine Corps combat veteran. He's the recipient of a Purple Heart. He fights for Bellator, and his name is Shane the War Rhino Kruchten. Today we talked about struggles that Shane has had in the past, things he's dealt with, and even some things that he's still, dealing with now. He shared a lot of great stories with us, so I'm excited to bring you guys our conversation that we had. Hope you guys enjoy it. But first, I would like to thank our sponsors, CBD Spectra. They offer amazing CBD patches with 96 hours of relief, 600 milligrams of CBD, organic ingredients, essential oils, and they are third-party tested. And the patches are also waterproof. Make sure to check them out on Instagram at CBD Spectra or visit www.spectra.com. That's SPECKTRA.com. And use discount code HONOR15 to get 50% off your purchases. We are also brought to you by Plantronics, offering high-quality headphones and earbuds. I use them when I'm working out, and I love them. They're very well made, comfortable. They're waterproof and sweatproof. I use their Backbeat Fit 3100s. They're amazing. So easy to set up and start using them right away. Great sound and very, very comfortable. So I really recommend you guys check them out on Instagram at Plantronics or go to www.plantronics.com. Okay, here we go. Here's Shane.
Wanted to jump on here and talk to you, about, people look at, especially like professional athletes, and they think life is great for them. They don't have any struggles, they've made it. But, a lot of us know that that's not the case. And it takes a lot for you guys to get to where you are. So I just wanted to see if, if you could share a little bit about things you've had to overcome or things that you're still struggling with now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, a lot of people, if they've read my story or have seen anything online or heard any of my interviews, I came from a really rough start of life, really rough. I don't exemplify it like a lot of people do. Oh, I had this hardship. I use that as fuel, right?
Yeah.
Joined the military, went in the military, and unfortunately was injured during combat and was medically released out of the Marine Corps. I came back thinking, hey, I'm just this, this farm boy that can, push through anything. That's what I was always taught by my father, who's a Vietnam veteran, my uncles who are Vietnam veterans, as well as my grandfather being a World War. You don't ask for help. You push forward. That's it.
Yeah.
So, I was always taught push forward, persevere, and that's it. There is no, you don't back down. You don't ask for help.
Yeah.
So I came back and, trying to ask for help. It didn't work out. I kind of inadvertently found mixed martial arts. I was at a bar and, I got offered a fight.
You got offered a bar fight or like an actual fight?
No, actual fight in a bar. Yeah. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, we have MMA going on in the back. And I'm like, MMA? I was like, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah.
This is early 2000s. So,
oh, wow.
You're talking prehistoric days of mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, what's up? I'll fight. And he goes, I'll give you a $500 bar tab. I was like, whoa. So I was like, let's go.
Let's do it.
Self-admittingly, I was 3-4 drinks in already. I weighed 262 pounds.
262?
262. He put me on a scale because he wanted to make sure I was, and he goes, whoa. He looked at me and goes, I thought you were like 220. And I go, nah, man, I was wearing a size 40 jeans at the time.
Jeez, 262.
Yeah, I know, right?
And you fight at lightweight now, right?
145 and 155, yeah.
Jeez.
So featherweight and lightweight. A whole human. I
yeah,
lost a human.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I fought and I won.
Wow.
I blew the whole bar tab plus some money. I ended up spending like $600 something that night.
Jeez.
But I never knew that was going to be the start of my career. People started seeing me, knowing my story. Next thing you know, I packed up everything and moved to California. whatever didn't fit in my car didn't come with me. I had about $5,000 in my pocket. Lived down by the beach. I met some guys. Yeah, in my car. But I met some guys at a club in Mexico, and they were like, "Hey, you want a room to live in?"
Yeah.
Kind of a godsend, if you would. You know, these guys came out of nowhere, just saw me, and they kind of took me under their wing. Unfortunately, I drifted away from them.
Yeah.
Fell into narcotics and drugs, and these same guys basically, have always been there for me, and they kept on like drilling me, saying, "Get away from these bad people," and I was like, "Oh, I'm good. I have this pro fighting career starting, and really going." I got in a really bad car accident, and a lot of people don't know that early on in my career. I actually I had a transverse fracture of two of my spinal vertebrae. And what a lumbar is basically your little wings on your vertebrae are broken off. I had two of them snap in my lower back, so I literally broke my back.
Wow. What year was this?
At the time I was training. This was in 2007.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know that about me.
Oh, wow. Thanks for sharing that.
I don't. Yeah, and I don't really. It's funny. I never talk about it. And I was training with Dominic Cruz at the time. He had just won the belt. Just lost to Uriah Faber in WEC.
Okay.
If you want to talk how long ago that was.
Yeah.
Dominic was like 6-1 at the time.
Jeez.
Nobody even barely knew who the guy was.
Yeah.
Super humble human, and Brandon Barrow was starting his come up. He was like 4-0
I remember watching him, man.
Yeah, you're talking. This is how long ago this was.
Yeah.
I had already had 6 pro fights at the time. Or no, sorry, 8. And the doctor was like, "You'll never fight again, man." And I remember thinking, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna fight again." Well, I went around and I did my riffraff and my post-military young 20s, causing mischief.
Yeah.
It all had to a head in 2009, June 14th, 2009.
Okay.
I tried to kill myself. And I purposely OD'd. I went on Google. I found out how much you had to mix on pills and everything, and I OD'd.
Wow,
Luckily, it's weird. The people that, I bought the drugs from were actually narcs for the DEA. Again, somebody's watching out for me, right?
Oh, yeah,
so
definitely.
I OD. I go through a glass table. The DEA and the local police think that I am a major drug dealer. They bust in my door, and I'm flatline, laying on the floor in a pool of vomit.
Was this at your house or like hotel or somewhere? Or?
This is at a hotel.
At a hotel.
Yeah, this is at a hotel. Yeah, little crack hotel. One of those little ones you get to like pay by the hour kind of thing.
I've heard about them. Never been there myself, but I've heard about them.
Yeah, no, I literally went there to die, man. And I went there because it was survivor's guilt from the military. And I didn't tell anybody. Well, I woke up. I had a guy at the time who was with the Wounded Warrior Project, who now runs A Veterans Hope, his own nonprofit. Norby Lara had called me probably around 40, 50 times. And he was like, "You need to answer your phone, this and that." And the police officer that had woken me up is still to this day still keeps in contact with me.
That's awesome.
He was there, and he reached in my wallet, and this is when we still had to carry wallets, the trifold. And I had a picture of one of my really close friends that was killed in action in the picture thing. And he looks right at it, and he points it at me and goes, "What in the F are you doing, devil dog?" And I looked, what? And he goes, "You need to pull your head out of your rear end. Otherwise, you're going to join him, but he's not going to be happy."
Yeah.
It was like that minute, man, that really just woke me up, right? And made me just go, I need to be a better dude.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, fast forward, I went through some trials and tribulations post that.
Yeah.
But I'm like the junior Donald Cerrone in injuries.
Yeah.
I play hard and I fight harder. I skydive. I hold a world record in skydiving.
Are you serious?
Yeah, man. It's stupid. I have over 5,500 skydives.
5,500?
Yeah,
Oh,
5,500.
Dang.
I have, roughly 1,200 tandem jumps. I've taken over 1,200 people out of a plane. I've done almost 700 base jumps.
Wow.
Off of buildings, on bridges and antennas, just dumb stuff that, I always believe in running life full force, right?
Yeah.
But, at the same time, I've struggled with a lot of mental stuff. And the reason why I got rid of drugs on June 14th, 2009.
Okay.
I've been clean ever since. I've never went back. I've gotten my alcoholism way under wraps. Am I saying I don't drink? No. I do drink occasionally, but I never have anything to excess. I work out like a ravaged ape now. When I go into the gym or I put my mind right, I know where I need to be.
Yeah.
I had a couple of failed relationships, and it was due to the PTSD and due to the personal refusal to be a better man.
Yeah.
And literally I shut God out. And I think that was the biggest downfall.
Yeah.
I had so much success, right?
Yeah.
I went on an 11 fight win streak, and towards the end of my 11 fight win streak, I stopped going to church.
Yeah.
I stopped praying, and it was weird because I got signed to the big show, World Series of Fighting, another old school.
Yeah.
So I got signed for WSOF 6. They had 31 shows. I fought for WSOF 6.
Okay.
And when I got signed in 2012 to them, I went in, man, and I was hyped. This 145er used to fight a heavyweight. He's 6'1". This guy's coming in to wreck shop. 11 fight win streak. Like, who has an 11 fight win streak coming into the big shows? Rarely.
That's very rare.
And unfortunately, I went in and I just didn't. I had my warrior mentality, and always fighting. I wasn't going to back down. And I had Colin Oyama, Team Oyama's owner and head coach.
Yeah.
He was in my corner. Man, and Shane Rosso had just passed away from an OD during my camp. So unfortunately, there was a lot of weird things that happened during my camp, right? Shane Rosso passed of an OD. Ian McCall stopped coming to the gym because of it. Carla Esparza wasn't able to come to the gym because of it. We're talking the who's who of helping me train.
Yeah.
I had nobody. Man, I was taking cardio classes trying to get ready.
Jeez.
And at the whole time, I was refusing to, kind of look up and bring it back to what got me there.
Yeah.
I went into the fight. I tore my retina, broke my orbital, broke my nose, my jaw, and lost 2 teeth. Mike Corey is Pat Curran's cousin. Beat the brakes off of me.
Sounds like it.
Hats off to that dude.
Yeah.
He humbled me. I cried for probably 3 weeks. But then, I kind of went into a dark spot again.
Yeah.
So everybody thinks that we don't go into dark spots. I mean, that's a lot of recovery. A torn retina, orbital, nose,
well,
jaw.
not to mention the overdose of Shane too, going into that.
Yeah.
Into the fight
that brings back all my memories.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. If how that affected you mentally preparing for the fight and even during the fight, something like that.
I think mentally preparing for it destroyed me.
Really?
If I look back to 2012, right? Yeah. This is early 2013.
Okay.
If I look back and it destroyed me. I went in the locker room though, and I was pretty calm. Jiva Santana, the arm collector, old school jiu-jitsu practitioner. He was in my corner, and he looked at me and he goes, "Shane, think about this. This is for your brothers on your back." Colin Oyama, you want to talk about a man that is a straight shooter. It doesn't matter what you say, when you say it. He'll give you his honest Hawaiian opinion.
Yeah.
10 million% of the time. He looked right at me and goes, "Don't be a bee.
Yeah.
How about you go out there and you fight with all your heart for your brothers on your back?" And I was like, "Well, that's a good point."
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Does
And
that motivate you, or does that get you, like, to me, that seems like I would, have a lot of extra pressure, or for some people, that just kind of lights that fire.
Okay, so I'm like that weirdo that needs somebody to put shit into perspective.
Okay.
If you can put those blinders on me,
Yeah.
man, it's game.
Okay.
And like you're screwed.
Yeah.
And I remember going into the corner between round 1 and 2, and between round 1 and 2, my jaw was already broken, my orbital was already done,
Jeez.
and my retina was done. Every time I throw a right hand, I was missing the guy by about 8-9 inches. And Oyama, I looked at Oyama and I go, I can't see, coach.
Yeah.
And I could barely close my jaw. And he looks at me and he goes, well, we gonna bitch out, or are you just gonna go out there and be a man about it? And I was like, well, that's a good point.
That's a good
He goes,
point.
are you done? And he goes, are you done fighting? And I said, well, no. He goes, okay, so why are you complaining? And I was like, okay. I was like, all right, good to go. So I went back out there. I fought. Unfortunately, I got caught. And I was out on the ground. But I went out on my shield.
Yeah.
And like true warrior.
Yeah.
And I to this day I idolize Colin Oyama for such things of giving me that motivation, because most people would quit.
Yeah.
The second their jaw gets broken, their
Yeah.
eye gets broken, like their nose.
Yeah.
And here I am. I got pictures, and I'm like, I'm trying to throw punches.
You got all three of those. If
Yeah.
you would have quit, do you think that would like bother you to this day, or do you think you would have
Yes.
been okay with that choice?
Nope. I would have hated myself to this
Yeah.
day. Just for numerous reasons. You fast forward, I had to take obviously time off for that. I got
Yeah.
medically suspended. I had what they call an indefinite medical suspension just because of the torn retina.
Okay.
It
Indefinite?
took they call it indefinite until you can get medically cleared.
Oh, okay.
So it took me 2.5 years to get cleared.
2.5 years.
Yeah, to get cleared on a torn retina.
Wow.
So that's when I was still with World Series.
Yeah.
Because I was never cut.
Yeah.
But my deal was like, it was like that weird limbo.
Yeah.
Well, being Shane
Yeah.
and being a crazy combat guy, and I've been around the world, I'm like, hey, I'm getting another fight. I gotta get that W.
Yeah.
So I start talking, and Ray Seppo has always been a great man. He's a humble human. He's a great father. Great,
Yeah.
just great dude. Well, I found out Ray Seppo was going to be at a comedy show in Las Vegas through
Okay.
Adam Hunter,
Okay.
My MMA Roasted.
Yeah.
I booked a ticket last minute, flew to Vegas on my own money, went to the comedy show where I found out Ray Seppo was going to be, and I called him out right at the table, and I said, hey, Ray, how you doing? He goes, oh, Shane.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I'm going to be on your Madison Square Garden card, aren't I? And he looked at me, and he was like, wait, what? And Adam Hunter was in on it.
Okay.
Adam Hunter walks up after a show. He goes, hey, Ray, I heard Shane's going to be on your Madison Square Garden card.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, Shane's gonna do a military fight. Yeah. And it was kind of cool, like,
That's awesome.
So anyways, yeah, fast forward, we went out to dinner, we talked, blah, blah, blah. And they ended up doing this thing called Who's the Toughest?
Okay.
They wanted to do an entire military card. I was going to headline it with all military fighters. Chad Robichaux,
Yeah.
Great man of God, dude. Like that guy, I did his Mighty Oaks Warrior Foundation.
Oh, really?
Crazy.
I'll have to check him out.
You need to. Yeah, he's a Strike Force. He's a World Series. I mean, you name it. He's a Recon Marine. The guy's just really cool.
Wow.
His son's now in Angelico. It's crazy. But he runs this thing called Mighty Oaks, and it's this all spiritual based healing process. I went through it, and that was right before this World Series fight.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I got this. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
And so Ray calls me. I get a call from Ray's office, and they're like, hey, so we're gonna have the entire military card in Denver, Colorado. And they started. I was on John. I was headlining, and John Fitch was the co-main event.
Wow.
And there was commercials on NBC Sports with my name, my face. I was like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
but you know, I started getting a lot of traction on social media live. But then, and then the card fell apart. They had to cancel never happened. They had to cancel the entire card. I get a phone call from Ray Seppo while I'm sparring.
Wow.
And all I see is a voicemail that says Ray Seppo. And I was like, you got to be crapping me. So I call, and I'm standing there on the phone. My whole team is right there. And I was like, hey, Ray. And he goes, hey, Shane, we had to cancel Denver. And my heart sunk. And he goes, but? And I go,
yeah.
And he goes, I want to offer you the first fight on the main card at Madison Square Garden New Year's Eve. And you're talking, this is in September, so we were supposed to fight in October. And now all of a sudden he wants me to fight. And I was like, yes, I'll take it. Like, you know.
Don't even have to think about that one.
No. Yeah. Any fighter in this world, you know, your mecca is Madison Square.
Madison Square Garden, yeah.
Yeah, so I got to fight at Madison Square. I won, and I won a unanimous decision, 29-28. It was a barn burner. I fought a staff sergeant, former staff sergeant from 2-5.
Actually, I just watched that about an hour ago.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a good fight.
Man, we beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, and then, that was awesome.
And we gave each other a kiss on the cheek before the third round, and we were already cracking each other.
Yeah.
We're actually good friends, so it's kind of funny.
Yeah, is it hard fighting friends though?
No, it makes for way better fights, I think.
Oh, really?
I think it makes for better fights.
Yeah, I guess when you're a pro athlete, you know eventually you're probably going to have to fight some people you know.
You're going to square up against somebody you've met, somebody you've chewed the same dirt with.
Yeah.
And here I'm not only chewing the dirt with a fellow Marine, but I'm chewing dirt with a guy that I like and I respect.
Yeah.
Went off on that. I won. And then I blew my knee out in the fight. Complete knee reconstruction right after the fight.
Whew.
And then
the
World
injuries
Series
just keep coming, huh?
Yeah. Well, World Series folded right after the fight.
Oh, okay.
And they folded, and unfortunately, they became PFL. PFL kind of took them over. Well, my knee was good, and Ray Seppo calls me, and he goes, hey, we're doing a trip over to the East Coast to Washington, D.C. Would you like to come? You want to be on this card? And I was like, oh, my gosh, I'd love to. Unfortunately, doctor wouldn't clear my knee. So the doctor wouldn't clear my knee yet. I had a complete reconstruction. So, 5.5 months later, go figure.
Jeez. Now, when a doctor doesn't clear you, is there, we regular people that don't fight, we can get second opinion, third opinion. How about for fighters? Is there kind of a way around that? Or once they say that's it?
When you go to a commission-approved doctor, it's really hard.
Okay.
Because once it gets on the paper, it's hard. I mean, you can.
Yeah.
There's ways. There's always ways.
Yeah,
right?
I guess that's true.
If I go to one of the, I had my knee done by the same doctor who used to do all the surgeries on all the San Diego Chargers.
Oh, okay.
And so if he says you're not good, I'm gonna take your word for it.
You probably want to listen to him.
Yeah. And one of the top surgeons in the world. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So I still flew out there. I did a whole bunch of press. I went to the Children's Hospital. I got to visit children that were passing away due to cancer and all this stuff.
Oh, man, that's tough.
Yeah. I got to visit Walter Reed. I got to see all the wounded troops. And Kayla Harris judo threw me on my rear end a couple times. It was an amazing experience. Unfortunately, at the PFL event that night, I spoke to a few people, and unbeknownst to me, they were higher ups in the PFL organization. So I was trying to campaign for a fight against Andre Harrison.
Yeah.
The time was the World Series of Fighting 145 world champ.
Okay.
Undefeated. He was 17-0. I really wanted that fight.
Yeah.
I thought that was my fight. I could get that, no problem. I flew up to Seattle and called him out on national TV. He called me out. Sorry. I have video of it. He called me out to Boss Rutten.
Yeah.
Boss Rutten goes, you just won this fight. Who do you want to fight next? And he goes, Shane Kruchten. And Boss Rutten goes, Shane Kruchten? Like, what? Like, I wasn't even on Boss Rutten's, radar.
His radar,
Yeah, and here's Andre Harrison calling me out in Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I got pretty much very nicely. I flew to Las Vegas the next weekend.
Okay.
I had an event. So I flew to Vegas. I was speaking with Ray. I was supposed to go over and train with Ray
Yeah.
and his guys. And Ray goes, "Hey Shane, I don't mean to be mean, but I don't think you're going to be on the first season. That first season, the tournament season."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Do you mind releasing me?" And he goes, "Oh, you want to be released?" And I go, "Yeah, if you don't mind, if you don't mind me kind of exercising my right to go find a new employment."
Yeah.
And he goes, "No, not at all." He goes, "I'll always be here. I'll always be a friend, and I'll always be available."
That's great,
and
man.
I think, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the treadmill.
Yeah.
I was on the treadmill at 24 Hour Fitness in Vegas when he said that. And I said, "I really appreciate that, Ray. You're talking, this was 8 months post surgery now."
Yeah, that's
and
great
I
when
said,
you can, you want to go on to something new and you can leave the old with the good relationship still intact instead of burning bridges and stuff. That's great.
I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
Never been that guy.
Yeah.
I asked for my release. He gave it. He was very humble about it. Very nice.
That's cool.
I called my manager and I said, "I'm a free agent." My manager goes, "Wait, what? What'd you do?" He thought I went and got myself fired.
Yeah.
But within, I think I had an offer from Bellator with him. Told him that I was optional. And then that Monday, so you're talking, this is Sunday that I asked for it.
Yeah.
On Monday, it was right before Christmas. I was in Home Depot with my daughter, and my money was wearing out.
Yeah.
I hadn't fought in almost a year.
Yeah.
And my manager calls me and goes, "Hey bro, what are you doing?" I go, I'm trying to Christmas shop on a budget with my daughter.
Yeah.
And my wife was at home at the time, and who was then only my fiance, wasn't even my wife.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, you're fighting." And I go, "What?" And he goes, "January 21st. So you're talking 4 weeks. Yeah. He goes, "You're fighting Aaron Pico."
Oh.
And I was like, "Done. Let's do this." Wow. And I didn't ask how much. I didn't care.
No.
All I knew is I was going to be able to have a Christmas for my baby girl.
Yeah. How old was your daughter at that time?
Oh gosh, she was 2 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, "Oh yeah." I looked down at her, I was like, "Baby girl," I was like, "Whatever you want, let's go get a present." Because I knew that, I had just been blessed right before Christmas.
Yeah.
And I called my girl and I was like, babe, I got to fight. And she's like, "Where?" And I was like, "At the Forum." I was like, man, I went from Madison Square Garden to the Forum. That's huge. So I went into that fight. I lost too much weight too quick.
Yeah.
I had to lose, I know people are going to shun me for this, almost 55 pounds in less than 4 weeks.
55 pounds.
Yeah, I was a little fat going into that one because I was coming off a major knee reconstruction and everything.
Yeah. Wow.
So most of my camp was dealing with the extreme knee pain still.
Yeah.
It was dealing with losing the weight.
Yeah.
I really didn't have time to train much of anything else other than cardio.
Just cardio,
Yeah, man. And
crazy,
but I made weight.
Man.
And 10 months to the day that I had knee reconstruction, 10 months to the day, I fought Aaron Pico in the Bellator cage, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
And when he hit me, he hit me once.
Yeah.
People don't see that highlight reel. He hit me once in the liver when we were clinched up.
Yeah.
And I actually dropped to the ground.
Okay.
The only highlight people see is after Mike Beltran makes me stand up.
Yeah.
Aaron Pico didn't want to come to the ground with me. Aaron Pico didn't want any jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And Antonio McKee, in all his infinite wisdom, great coach. He knows my level of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And Aaron Pico started walking in, and I was baiting him because I was like, F that. I felt his power one punch. I was like, "Come here, baby. You want to play?" And he started walking forward, and Antonio McKee was like, "Get the F out of there. You stop."
But that in reverse. Yeah.
Did you freeze? Oh, there you
I
go.
don't know.
Yeah, he's like, put it in reverse, get out, don't stay there. And so he backs up and he goes, stand up. And in my brain, I went, budge, and I could hear my coaches without them saying anything. Like, I bet you in their head, they were like, stay down.
Stay down. Don't get up. Don't get up.
Yeah. There's some things, but I'm a warrior at the end of the day. Like, I don't back down from shit. And I stood up, man, and I decided to gunsling with Aaron Pico.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I cracked him with a left hook. In the midst of the left hook, I caught a nice liver shot that broke 4 ribs.
It broke.
Broke 4 ribs.
Broke
one
4
punch.
ribs. Wow.
Yeah, one punch.
Yeah.
And I back up. You can see the highlight reel. If you watch the highlight reel on Bellator, they post it all the time. They're like the ultimate trolls of my life. I love them for it.
Yeah.
But you watch my entire rib cage shift.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out a little closer.
Yeah. So as I turn, watch the slow mo version. The whole rib cage shifts. I turn and I fall. Aaron Pico gets right through my guard. I have my guard up.
Yeah.
Gets right through it, cracks me right on the back of the jaw.
Yeah.
And knocks me cold, unconscious. Inadvertent, and not mean.
Yeah.
No ill intention.
Yeah.
Hits me, knocks me out. Mike Beltran comes in and tackles into me to get Pico off.
Yeah.
Wakes me up by kneeing me on accident. Like, it's kind of like that spark wake up.
Yeah.
And I look at him, and I'm like, what the? And he goes, fight's over. And I go, what? What happened? He goes, you got knocked out. I go, what?
Jeez.
So, but I don't, I went through a dark spot after that. People don't realize when athletes fall, when they're real fighters, we can get up, we can fight on, but sometimes you fall into dark holes, man. I almost lost my now wife.
Yeah.
I shunned a lot of people. I lost a lot of really good personal relationships.
Yeah. And when you say you almost lost your now wife, you mean like the relationship? You just weren't in a good place?
No, man. I pushed her away, brother.
Wow.
I was a turd, man. Emotionally, I've never been physical, but emotionally and psychologically, I was a POS.
Yeah.
And, and it takes a bigger man to admit that.
It really does.
Yeah, and I almost lost her then, and then I got the chance to fight Daniel Strauss.
Yeah.
That was my last fight. Daniel, I thought I was winning the fight. I was doing very well.
Yep.
But I zigged when I should have zagged, and I caught a straight left that I've never felt that kind of power. I can't tell you what happened after that until Mike Beltran again was looking at me.
Yeah. Did he knee you again to wake you up this time, or?
Yeah, right? No. I came to. So I don't remember tapping or anything.
Okay.
You can tell I'm pretty much out of my ass.
Yeah.
As soon as I hit the ground, I'm sitting there, and Daniel Strauss is like, crotch in my face, just cracking me with left hands, and my body's like, just being a bobblehead.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything. I remember coming to as soon as Daniel let go of the jaw crank.
Yeah.
I felt as though my jaw was going to break. That's why the tap happened. People were like, it's only a jaw. I'm like, yeah, okay. Get that around your jaw, bub.
Yeah, try that. Try that on for size. See if you're going to tap or not.
Yeah, that's no joke. So hats off to him. Unfortunately, I had to do some soul searching, and I almost lost my wife again. I fell into a dark spot. And the thing is when you lose, and all I know is fighting.
Yeah.
Everything I do, whether I fight for friends, whether I fight for money in the cage, whether I fight for my kid, whether I fight for anything.
I mean, you even fight for our country too, So everything you're doing is fighting.
Yeah. And that's all I know. I have a warrior's heart. I'm a true warrior.
Yeah.
Luckily, I got back in. My wife was like, "Hey, you need to start doing jiu-jitsu again. That's kind of your humble spot." So I went back in. I started doing jiu-jitsu. I'm now a black belt under the Alliance
awesome.
Lineage. I've been doing gi jiu-jitsu 14 years. Mm-hmm. I trained under 10 Planet Freaks with Boogie Martinez as well.
Yeah.
But it's like I had to get back in that spots, right? So am I saying I'm in a perfect spot with my wife right now? No. But her and I are growing again, and
Yeah.
and it's because I went on a Middle East tour last year.
Yeah, I saw that.
Towards the end of last year. Yeah, man. And it really kind of showed me that I need to really, I don't know, kind of take in the energy around me.
Yeah.
From not only her but you and
Yeah.
other people, and just kind of be a better person, right?
Yeah.
Don't be so egotistical.
Oh man.
So that's where I'm at, bro. I'm like, I'm enlightened now. I'm like, I went on this trip, and I think Qatar, being in Djibouti, being in Kuwait, being in France, like being around these troops, man, that literally can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But are still so motivated to serve this country.
Yeah.
It kind of reopened up some really cool things in my brain. And I came back, and I don't blame my wife at all, man. She's a firecracker, but she's like, kind of like, are you for sure like gonna be a better person? She's working with me, but I'm learning a lot, and I got really humbled. I don't know if you've seen on Instagram called UTL, Underwater Torpedo League.
No, I'll check it out though.
Man, you need to check those guys out.
Okay.
So this guy, all these MARSOC Marines started this Underwater Torpedo League.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, man, you want to be humbled? Go get drowned once. But these guys, it's like, dude, I'm out of my element, brother. I am a flopping fish underwater, bro.
Yeah.
Like, there's something about putting water over my face
No, I'm
and
not very
telling me
good
to
with
hold
that,
my
man.
breath for over 30 seconds. Good luck.
Yeah. You get me in the water, and any little thing, I'll start panicking.
Dude, for real.
Yeah.
Like, my little brother says it the best. He goes, I have an agreement with the sharks. They don't come on land and F with me. I'm not going to go in their water and F with them. My little brother has never been in the ocean, and he's lived in California for, 20 years.
Yeah. That's
so it's just something. But, I did that for the first time last week. I did it again yesterday. I've never been more exhausted, but more humbling experience, So it's like ever since getting back from the Middle East, I'm trying to find all these really cool things that will just kind of expose your mind, right?
Yeah.
Make you vulnerable. And it's weird because, as a fighter, as a human, as a competitor, whether like you lifting weights with you and your little one and your wife, just as a motivated, driven individual, you can never stay on the same routine.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins says it the best. He goes, if you stay on the same routine, you die.
Yeah.
And the smartest, richest, the most, prominent people in this world have never stayed on the same routine.
Yeah.
But I was dead to that, right? I was on an 11-point win streak. I did, and I was living in all these, I did, instead of going, what can I do next?
Yeah.
And I think that's where, sorry to go on this long ass tangent,
man, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. But I think that's where people lose themselves, is not willing to learn and not willing to grow.
Yeah.
Right. And Prime, Prime, he's a MARSOC Marine. He looked right at me and he goes, were you a POS to your wife? And I said, yes.
Yeah.
He goes, okay. He goes, that was your biggest accomplishment right there, is admitting it.
Yeah.
But now it's your job to spiritually reconnect with her and emotionally and spiritually grow with her.
Yeah.
And, man, I've been doing it. Unfortunately, I got told by Bellator I had to go get a fight outside the Bellator cage, which is fine.
Okay.
I have a fight coming up on February 29th.
Oh, okay, cool.
My wife is on the same card.
No way.
Like, dude, 15 years. This is my 15th year as a professional athlete.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd make it this far.
Yeah.
To be honest, I thought I was going to get one or two pro fights and I was going to be good. That was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Man, and you're talking 25, almost 26 pro fights later, and here I am, still here.
Wow.
With injuries and everything, and now I'm going to be on a card with my wife. Like, what?
What's that gonna be like, man? How's that gonna?
Dude, I don't know.
Who fights first?
She does. She's the amateur.
Okay.
So I'm towards the head of the card. So I don't know if I'm either going to be right underneath the co-main or a co-main.
Okay.
I probably won't be main, but that's fine. There's There's a Strike Force veteran on the card. There's 3 UFC veterans on the card.
Wow.
There's 4 Bellator vets on the card. I mean, they're coming some heat, man.
Yeah.
So it's like, and this is Sean Meerman's show.
Yeah. Okay.
The Lights Out.
Yeah.
So, not only am I able to fight again in San Diego, which I haven't done in 10 years.
Oh, really?
But I'm doing it with my wife. Like, what?
Yeah.
You know,
that's amazing. You know, it's a lot of pressure, but you guys get to experience everything together.
Correct. You know, we've been weight cutting together. We've been doing the dieting together. She's actually cooking right now.
That's cool.
Yeah, man, we go to the gym, pretty much same schedule. Normally I do my camps in Arizona, with Benson Henderson and all those guys.
Yeah, I've seen you post stuff.
Yeah, this camp, I'm doing it local. Still running my company.
Yeah.
But it's still good, man. Like, and it's cool to like kind of step outside the element, right? And like, I'm taking all these people's like emotional energy and channeling it. But it's weird because for years when I was fighting, I was always walking around and I had this chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
You'd see me on the street, I'm like, you know, and people would be scared to talk to me. I'd probably snap at you. I was losing weight to the point where I didn't care who you were, what you wanted. I didn't care if you were offering me $1 million.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, oh, you need help with this? Let me help you with this move, you know? And like, but it's really weird because like, there's a part of me, that warrior part, that's like, am I going to be able to perform?
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, dude, I got it in there. Oh, it's in there. It's just a calmer version of me, which is fine. But it's, you know, as long as I'm ready to complete the mission when the mission appears itself, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, man, there's a lot of lessons that we learn in life, and sometimes it takes a couple years to actually have that come up and kind of kick you in the butt, and you realize, wow, I went through all of this to finally start understanding what I need to change and how I was living my life and stuff. And, you know, I almost lost my battle 3 different times to lupus. And each time I would come back and I was just eyes wide open. Okay, I'm going to be the best person possible, so motivated. And then it kind of starts to wear off a little bit to where it just becomes natural and becomes normal to kind of wake up and go to the gym, kick butt every day. And you kind of start getting lost in what it is that you were doing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so kind of keeping that motivation going consistently.
And you got to find it after 15 years, man. It's like, holy crap. You know, I mean, I remember when I got to 5 years, I was like, whoa, man, I'm like a veteran in this sport. Then it was 10 years, I was like, 10 years, you know? And now I'm like, 15 years, people look at me, I'm the grandpa in the gym, you know?
15 years is a lot in the fight world.
Yeah, I mean, I got more years in this sport than some of the gyms around that have been open.
Yeah, I mean, and going back to something that you had talked about, you know, when you talked about you went to the hotel and you actually tried to take your own life, and, you know, kind of recovering from that, how long did it take you to kind of really to want to have your life back, you know, after you were woken up and everything, and how long did it take you, and kind of what was the process to get that fire back inside of you?
It took me, the guy basically asked me what in the F I was doing. Yeah. And why I'm letting my fellow Marines down. It took me that, and then the next day, I had to get bailed out of, so I was handcuffed to the hospital bed. Okay. The police came in and they gave me a ticket and all this crap. And
were you handcuffed for your own safety, or they thought you were going to run?
I was under arrest. Yeah, okay. I was under arrest for having narcotics.
Oh yeah, that's right. They were narcs that you said. That's right.
But unfortunate for them, I had all the narcotics inside of me.
No evidence.
Yeah, no evidence. It was all in me. So I got lucky, man. I that was considered jail to me because I was in the police wing. Yeah. A day and a half in there, I released. The next day, Joe Duarte, former Strike Force UFC veteran, great dude. I trained with him at the time, and he was a former Army Ranger. He calls me, and he finds out, oh, man, that was a bad day. Yeah. He's like, you get your ass to the gym. I was like, oh, okay, I've got my way. And they proceeded to put me through like a 4.5, 5 hour gauntlet, just beating the crap out of me, making me train, basically detoxing me. It was really effed up way to do it, but it was military way, right?
Yeah.
Take you under the wing. You're lost. Guess what? We'll put you back on the track.
Yeah.
It took that, man. I think having him, Patrick Spade, Casey Ryan, Wade Shipp, old UFC vet, all these guys, man, just, really just surround me with love.
Yeah.
That really helped. I mean, that's another thing is like in the last 4 or 5 years, I've become really close friends with Tito Ortiz.
Yeah.
And, I'm real close with him. I talk to him often. Bill Goldberg became one of my really close friends, WWE.
That's cool. Yeah.
And King Mo. So it's like these guys became actual friends, but friends I can rely on. I can like I text Tito when Bellator was going sour on me.
Yeah.
And I text him and I said, "What do I do?" And he goes, "You do what's in your heart.
Yeah.
And if you want to fight, you make sure there's no stone unturned."
Yeah.
And I said, "Wow, that's actually really good knowledge."
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the way I'm treating it, man. Like I'm training things. I'm training things that I've never done before. Why? Because I'm leaving no stone unturned. God, what if I find the magic potion? Potion.
Yeah. You never know where you're going to find it.
Exactly. And that's the same thing. That's the same way I treated it as soon as on my recovery was how can I find this redevelopment and let me do it. And it worked after my recovery in 2009. It worked for a long time. But now it's like, now I need new tools, right?
Yeah.
I need new tools in that toolbox. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, you got to keep evolving. And one other thing I wanted to touch on is, you said you kind of lost your way with God. How long did that last? And what was it like when you found your way back?
Lasted almost 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, it was a really damaging time between a breakup with a girl that I had moved to Orange County with.
Yeah.
We went to this church, and I thought at first it was disguised as a very good church.
Yeah.
And great leadership. Unfortunately, I think it was more of a cult-ran organization.
Okay.
It kind of really that whole thing shoved me away from the church. Okay. Unfortunately,
yes.
A bad experience, right? Like the bad apple rotting really threw me.
Yeah.
When I lost my way, man, I thought I was good to go. Everything like that. And I happened to be at work one time, and when I was at work, this guy goes, "Hey, you want to go to the Stations of the Cross?" And I looked at him, and he goes, "You're Catholic, right?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Okay, well, you do have a rosary tattooed on you." I said, "Yes." And he goes, "You want to go to the Stations of the Cross with me?" And I was like, "We can do that while we're at work?" And he goes, "Well, yes, it's a religious thing. It's for Christmas, And I said, "Okay." So I went, and it was literally that first time, and it felt like a bicycle, right? Like nothing felt out of place. Nothing felt weird.
Yeah.
I felt right back in, man, and I really felt welcomed by all the congregation, by all the people, and it was like, okay, this is where I belong, not the whole church running a cult.
Yeah. A lot of times we let bad experiences kind of push us away, and a lot of times we use that bad experience as an excuse to go further away because we were already drifting that way, and we use that, like, oh, okay, here's my reason why I'm going to step away. So,
correct.
Yeah, it's always nice when we can find our way back. Cause I know for me, when I was, every time I got better after, I had a really scary lupus situation, I was so strong in my faith. And once I got better, I just kind of started drifting away from it. And I remember several times, I was in LA all the time, and I would go to clubs and, hanging out with my friends. And I remember reaching in my pocket, and I had my medicine. And without my medicine, I can't even get up out of bed. I can't open a bottle of water. It's crazy. And I remember reaching down, and I had my medicine in there, and I hadn't taken it after dinner. And I had a 7 and 7 in my other hand. And I was like, oh, okay. So I popped it and drank it. And my friend goes, "Hey, did you just take your medicine?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I don't think that's a good idea, man. You should have asked for water." I was like, take another drink. It just kind of, I was feeling so great that I kind of felt invincible.
Yeah.
and I got sick again, and then that brought me back in, and so it's just been kind of a roller coaster at times.
Yeah, lupus is no joke, man. I think, like my mother-in-law, like I had mentioned, suffers from it.
Yeah.
My wife has lupus-like syndrome symptoms, severe liver issues.
Really?
The doctors tell her, yeah, man, and this poor girl suffers, man. But and she's always scared I'm gonna run away. I'm like, dude, if you don't run away on my messed up self, trust me, I ain't running away for a little bit of disease. Like, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great that you guys have that, that bond, that she stuck with you through all the things that you went through. And
man. And it like, you can't give up. I mean, I went through hell and high water. I drug her through the mud with me.
Yeah.
And for her to stick with me, man, when she has these little medical things and like issues, she can't go to the gym, can't wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
People don't realize, like, especially when that stuff puts you down in bed, you're down in bed for a day, 2 days.
Yeah.
And oh man. And I'm like, I wait on her hand and foot now. I'm like, yo, what do you need? How do you need it?
That's awesome.
Whatever she needs, I do it,
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I get a lot of, actually, it's kind of surprising how many DMs I get. They don't comment on my post, but I get a lot of DMs, people asking me, hey, do you really have lupus? Doesn't look like you have it. I think you're just doing that to try to get attention.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's, I post the good and the bad on there, but people just tend to focus on when I do talk about lupus, and then the way that I look, they don't understand that that's a disease that attacks you from the inside. Inside out, man.
Yeah. And I live with it. So like with my mother-in-law, and I mean, that lady is a heart of gold.
Yeah.
But when that disease starts to attack her, bro, I'm just,
Yeah, you get, like yesterday, we went to the park, and I just wasn't feeling good. I was trying to play with the kids as much as possible, and I have it mixed with rheumatoid arthritis, and so my hands were killing me because of the weather. And we came home, and I told my wife, I was like, hey, I'm not feeling well. Let's just watch a movie, relax, and I'm gonna sleep, and hopefully I'll wake up feeling a lot better. She's like, yeah, all right, put the kids down, watch a movie. And I passed out right away, and once I woke up, I started feeling a lot better. And I always apologize to them, like, hey, sorry I wasn't myself today. And my kids don't understand so much, but my wife is like, yeah, don't worry about it. She appreciates that I tell her when something's wrong, and then she kind of just gives me my space.
Yep.
Yeah. So
that's the best way. Yeah. Like my wife goes, I'm going to be in the bedroom today. I'm like, see you later.
Yeah.
I got plenty of shit on the honey-do list.
Yep. If you need something, just let me know.
Yeah. Give me a call or give me a text.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's, you've been through so many things, not only with fighting, but in the military, and, with so many things that you've experienced in your life. But that's awesome, man, that you still keep pushing forward and never giving up.
Trying.
Yeah. So we're going up on an hour here.
It was a good talk. You said it. We went down the wormhole.
I know. I was like, I don't know. It depends how far in the weeds we go. I don't know how long it's going to be. But
we got done lost in the weeds.
But yeah, man, I really appreciate you coming on here and talking about all this stuff. And
absolutely, dude.
I think that's going to help a lot of people that go through similar things or other situations, but can relate, to your story. And I'm excited, man, for the fight that you got coming up, and your wife's going to be on the same card, and definitely looking forward to that. So
appreciate it.
All right, brother.
All right, man.
All right, God bless.
Have a good day.
We'll talk again, man.
Absolutely. God bless.
All right, later.